Hello, and welcome to the South Coast Artists Index, where artists, performers, and writers, as well as curators, directors, and supporters, anyone with ties to the creative community, drops by to introduce themselves to you. We'll talk about their beginnings, their vision, their passion, and so much more. The South Coast Artist Index podcast is brought to you in part by Heavenly Spirits, who invites you to celebrate the art of life and creative communities everywhere. Learn more at heavenlyspirits.com.
Hi, this is Ron Fortier with another podcast, and this one is really special because this goes back in time. I can hear Huey Lewis now, but it goes back in time, way back in time, and our guest and I both worked let's call it the entertainment venues at SMU, Southeastern Massachusetts University. I was in the more refined area of the campus because I was and sophisticated. I was the set designer for SMU Opera. Yes, there was an opera department at SMU, and that's a whole other story. But our guest was on the other side, bringing in some... You're not going to believe what he's going to say. He is not a liar. So with that in mind, I'm going to have him officially tell us his name and spell his name, and we're going to kick off his episode.
Colin Williams, COLIN, WILLIAMS, Frank Zappa and the Mothers, Lonnie Liston Smith with Brass Construction, 1976, Tavai, local talent, performed in the gymnasium. I think we sold that one out. And in the auditorium, Jonathan Edwards and Orphan. Anybody ever heard of Jay Giles anymore? And Ramatam.
Wow.
How about Dizzy Gillespie? That's just a partial list. The last event we did was Loggins and Messina on campus at SMU in the gymnasium, as the story goes along with that. I think the first event that the SMU Concert Series ever did out there was Jacques Brel, alive and well and living in Paris. I think the biggest event that we ever did in the SMU Concert Series was that 1975, November 1st? The Rolling Thunder Review, convened by Bob Dylan. They came onto the East Coast into Plymouth, Massachusetts to warm up, to practice, to get it going on with, other than Joan Baez, I hesitate to name everybody because I couldn't name everybody. They rehearsed down there, and they did a practice concert in Plymouth in the church at the top of the hill down there, if I remember correctly. Jay Giles was at the university a number of times. May 1st, 1969 at the Woods of Dartmouth Festival, and again in 1970 at the Lincoln Park Ballroom. And it was the first SMU Concert Series rock show, big time. He'd always been a local favorite, kind of a boogie-woogie band. I like to remember him. I like to remember the Frank Zappa concert when he was coming on stage and he was walking past the stage crew, and Barbara son George was there, and he said to Frank Zappa, he was marching by with his guitar ready to go. George says, "Play Wipeout." And guess what? It happened.
It happened, really?
Yeah, well, a few bars. Just a salute to the song, to George, to the house. Another big one that we did with another band opening up was the James Montgomery Band. And indeed, they'd been in town again and again beforehand.
These were what they call college circuit bands at that time, right? I mean, was ACDC, Walk on Gilded Splinters, I Don't Need No Doctor. They played Amherst.
I reckon.
Yeah.
No, I think we were before that time.
Even before that time, wow.
Think of the time of Aerosmith. Mm-hmm. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
James Montgomery Band opened for Aerosmith. That was a fun thing to do. I'd gone up with a couple other members of the concert series. Bob Parsons, subsequent co-chairman, into the Orpheum Theater. We were going to a Black Oak, Arkansas concert, and we were backstage at invitation of the booking agency, our booking agency, Lordley and Dame out of Boston, and he said, "We got something special coming up. You might be interested." But because they had cred, and we were good collaboration with them for a couple of years already, and he said, "I can't tell you who the act is, but we're talking November 1st. See if you can get it together with the administration to allow you to have a concert." And then about 9 or 10 days before November 1st, he said, "Bob Dylan and the Rolling Thunder Review." Wow.
Wow.
We did Earth, Wind, and Fire and War in the same year.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, they were at Woods of Dartmouth. I remember hearing them, I believe.
Oh, I missed it. I was in...
I was doing my SATs at Dartmouth High School, which is high on a hill, and everything that was going on
Oh, is that right?
at SMU,
You could hear it.
we could hear it. In fact, they had awning windows,
Yep.
and the instructor, the proctor proctor of the SATs, as he would lower the awning windows, the volume would go down. So he adjusted it so that we could still hear it and do our tests. Which was
Beautiful.
I couldn't go to that concert because I was too much of a goody two shoes, and I worked at Gulf Hill Parlor.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was like, "Ed, I can't come into work."
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and so I picked up everybody's shifts. But when I saw I mentioned this in a couple of podcasts before. When I saw Star Wars, and there's the Star Wars bar room scene, I felt like the bartender. There was a flip of that scene. I felt like the bartender and all the weird people. There was some stoners coming in. We had something called the Astronaut Sundae, and I can't remember how many scoops of ice cream. Some of these people could not they couldn't put two and two together. Never mind name how many scoops. Well, there was 27 scoops, I think, in the Astronaut Sundae, but they couldn't name what flavors they wanted. They were just so stoned out of their brains.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
A sweet scene.
And then trying to do the SATs with the Guess Who, playing American Woman.
Wow.
And you can see everybody like rocking in their seats doing their SATs.
Phenomenal.
Isn't that something?
I can imagine. Maybe that starts to explain what happened when Kenny Richards, local talent, and I got together to do an outdoors concert in the spring. We called it Gentle Thursday. It was a secret. But we didn't try too hard to keep an outdoor daytime concert, and there was a huge number of high school students who were absent from their math classes that day. And it was such a thing that the town contacted the university and said, "What?" And I remember going to a town meeting at the on Russell Mills Road with Dean Howard, Dean of Students, or Associate Dean of Students, and tried to explain ourselves. Okay, well, we're not going to do it again. And I don't think we did it again. But anyway, there was that Earth, Wind, and Fire and War in the same year. It was Stephen Brown started up the concert series with Bob DiPietro that was choosing the acts. Well, he was a musician, a saxophone player, and Bob DiPietro was well-oiled to deal with the university and the student senate, but the band that I remember better is John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Yes.
And the thing I remember about that is, and before the show, there was kind of a warm-up, as musicians would do, being on the road and all. And Billy Cobham did kind of a drum solo, kind of a long drum solo, and he had kind of a drum set that included about 17 drums and some other noisemakers, and I was enjoying that, and I was listening careful. I don't know if my hearing gone bad because of the Billy Cobham drum solo. It was all the jets on the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
James Montgomery was also in town for one of our concerts.
I heard the boss was there too.
Who?
The boss.
You talking about?
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, let me tell you a little Springsteen story. At the same time that we had the Rolling Thunder Review come and go by, we also were in contact with the agency in Boston, Lord Land Dame, and they said, Bruce Springsteen? Well, we knew him a little bit by then. He was well known. So they sent us a contract. Before I had a chance to sign that contract and send it back to Boston, Bruce Springsteen returned from a European tour, and he blew a whistle on himself. He said, all set, give me a break, time out, I got to recover. Maybe the creative juices in him were just flowing too fast. He had to catch up with himself. So, and that's interesting in this sense, because Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan were each on separate covers, I think, during that fall of Time magazine. And here we are, the small town university.
Can you explain that phenomenon? Because I always go back to, the board of directors of two textile schools merged together to become Southeastern Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Technological Institute actually, SMTI, and there's this 80-acre farm, and they hired Paul Rudolph, a world-class architect. He had designed like so many, he was a brutalist architect, and some people love him, some people hate him. I love him. I thought it was there was something embryonic about being on that campus. And you don't really feel that until you have gone for several years and you come back, and all of a sudden it's like you wet yourself. There's no other description for it. And
off the chart.
And then saying to myself, okay, I'm so glad you're here, because I didn't imagine half of this stuff that this really went on. How the heck was it possible?
Student fees.
We brought the world to our door.
Paul Rudolph built a stage, and everywhere was a stage all day long on campus. Everywhere you look, left, right, down the hall, behind you, everybody was framed by the architecture, the walls, the doorways, the windows, the steps, the stairs. There was platforms everywhere, and I think that's one of the reasons why there were so many spontaneous musicians sitting in a corner and performing.
You got the engineering building for example. It was like three levels that they could have done opera there. Opera in. What do they call that? Theater and Alive, where there's no proscenium. I remember reading that he was getting some flack about everything's gray, it's all cement.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't understand. It's the people who bring the color.
Certainly.
The people who give life to these buildings.
And the sound, which was off and on all the time. We could have used more upholstery, more textiles. There were some, albeit aluminum, but they were a fine linked chain, as if hanging like 30 or 40 feet high. And some of the seating in the Group 1 South Lounge, I remember, was textile upholstered. By
the way, for your younger folks, Group 1 is known today as Lart's building, which I still can't. Somebody asked me the other day, why did they name them by groups? It's like, when they built, that was the first one they built, and the second one they built was Group 2, and the third one they built was Group 3, and when I left campus, there was no Group 6. That's where CVPA is today. And that was what it was destined to be called. It was Group 6. It was a hole in the ground when we left campus, when we graduated. And then for some reason they came along and they started naming the buildings as to what their function was.
Group 5 makes me think of that piano there. We were doing a concert in the auditorium at one time. I don't know, it was for the Stedford, not the Concert Series. And I wish I could remember the fellow's names. A duo, piano duo. And they were ready to play that Saturday night concert. They were dressed up fine, and they wanted a candle on the piano. Well, we didn't have anything other than an upright piano in the auditorium at SMU that day.
Yeah.
But there was one in Group 5, was it? So I made arrangements with a local piano tuner, and he gave me the name of somebody that could move it. So we moved the piano from Group 5 to the auditorium. The piano tuned it. The candle on the piano was lit, and it was beautiful.
Yep.
Another named act that I'd like to mention that was on campus at that time. It was a rock concert, it's fun to mention, but here's some local talent. We were doing some Friday night mixers in the campus center, which evolved nicely. But remember that? Duke and the Drivers?
Yes. Is Greg Morton still about? Because I left several
Yes,
messages for him. And last time I saw him was when he helped me with a chef series that I was running at Dartmouth Building Supply.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's around. I see him occasionally.
That melodious voice of his.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a nice little restaurant sort of place. It's as much a coffee lunch place in Padenham at the corner of Bridge Street and Elm Street. And I think he's got another facility on Dartmouth Street that he uses when he's
Morton's Fork.
yes, when he's catering.
Yeah. Is he back in the village? Because he started off where it was the old Esso station that they converted that, and then
Bridge Street Cafe.
yeah, the Bridge Street Cafe.
It was started up by from Kennelworks, the Belgian fella.
Maurice Jasper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Morton's still active, and another member of his band, I think his name's Tom Swift. He's in legal practice in town. And I should mention Baltimore Kid and Street, but I don't remember actually when and where Baltimore Kid and Street played. But that's Jack Jennings, and
Okay. Jack's still rambling around. Yeah.
I'll bet he is nicely. He's a West Porter now, and I think he's in real estate, but it's fun to remember him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jack Flash. And that's all I happen to have in front of me. There was countless people participate in this SMU Concert Series event out there, one thing and another. I have here a list of security volunteers, and it says roving patrol. We did an all-nighter. I was kind of off the top of my head, except that I had experienced such a thing as an all-nighter. The Assembly Association in Greater New Bedford was introducing debutantes, and sometimes they might have been in the ballroom at the top of the New Bedford Hotel, but in this instance, I'm remembering it was at the $1 Million Ballroom at Lincoln Park, and that's where Jay Giles played first when he was in town. But we were doing these Friday night mixers in the campus center, and we served breakfast at midnight, like that Assembly Association did at the $1 Million Ballroom. And so we'd have 2 or 3 acts, and then maybe we'd have somebody local on late in the night, and it worked. First time out. We might have only done it 2 times, but it was a novel event, and it was using Paul Rudolph's architecture, being that everywhere you looked, if there was anybody there, they were framed, they were elevated, and it was nice to use the building that way.
Were you involved in the May Day concerts? They refer to it now as the Quad, and I remember what they refer to now as the Campanile. We didn't call it Campanile. I think we called it a Campanella for some reason. It probably could have been just a mispronunciation of it.
Yeah.
But I do remember we were allowed to go up into the Needle, that until the Texas Tower Massacre at the University of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And then they sealed off that door, and nobody was ever allowed to go back up there anymore. But I do remember being on campus and telling my students that the May Day concerts was it was all the fried chicken you could eat and all the free beer you could drink. And they're looking at me like, you're so full of crap.
No,
I'm like,
yep.
No, it was Miller beer. They had the Miller beer trucks on
Yeah.
campus. And I said, the reason why I'm telling you this is not because it's not just like an old man reminiscing about his salad days, but it was a wonderful marketing concept because now you got somebody who's graduated from here. It's Friday, they're frazzled, they've had a crappy week, and they decide they're going to go to the liquor store, and they go to reach for whatever beer that they normally would drink, and they see Miller High Life there, and all of a sudden there's a subliminal retracement to those days on campus. And you could see people make pyramids with the empty cans.
Yeah,
It's just
simple fun. I remember having heard about that, but I was
can't
never
remember
there.
the acts, though.
And I think that was the thing that led to our doing that Gentle Thursday in the amphitheater on the south side of the library building there. And now that you mention it, the Campanile, we started off that event with the Star Spangled Banner, given by Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
How about?
What happened to all that youthful enthusiasm?
Oh, it's in another vein.
I think we came out on the 18th of October for No King's Day.
Big time.
Because Trump said, oh, just a bunch of old white people. Old hippies. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Pretty much, but the younger and the younger yet.
Doing the mea culpa. You know, we should have stayed active.
It was joyous, the event in Mattapoisett. And the march down to Shipyard Park after that Route 6 side demonstration. Mm-hmm. It was a walk. It wasn't a march. We weren't stamping our feet. Sometimes maybe we had our hands on our hips, but it was beautiful. Like the October 18th event at Fairhaven High School. It was a big warm embrace.
Do you remember I think it was October 15th, 68, World Peace Moratorium, where everybody walked out of school?
Sorry, I was in Nam.
You were in Nam at the time, yeah. That's a whole other story.
But we caught wind of such events because there was Armed Forces Radio, and they weren't shy about, they were modestly talking about such events, but we were informed.
Yeah. So, what do you think would be the best way to preserve all these memories? Because,
An index.
Yes. Because, and I've said this way too many times, but one of the drivers is the African proverb that you die twice. Once when you draw your last breath, and the second time when the last person that spoke your name draws their last breath.
That's quite a span.
It is, and I think about that. And one of the drivers for me was my mom, who, and I hate to say finally did pass away, because she was in her 90s. And for me, I was only 5 years ago that I realized, oh, dude, is something wrong with you? Most of your friends' parents have been gone 20, 25 years, and your mom's like the Energizer Bunny. She keeps on going. She's totally independent, And it's like nobody remembers her singing except me. And
Singing.
She was a headliner,
She was a what?
She was a headliner in Fadu. I mean, she sang on the same stage as Amalia Rodriguez down in Newark and Elizabeth, New Jersey. And, and that's one of the drivers that, memory is precious. It's important. It's important, yeah. So what are your feelings about developing a series that is going to help feed the index? The index, we'll break away just for a second on that thought. The index is the artist's index. That was one of our original goals, is that when we had enough data, enough information, we were going to create this database, very similar to Ancestry.com, where we would put in everything that we've got. We were delayed by several things. One of them is manpower, the other one's finances, the other one was we didn't have enough content. Well, when we hit that 200, we had a load of content to put in there. And I always said that our business model was stone soup. So you got nothing, you have this pot, you fill it with water, you put in a nicely washed stone, and somebody says, what are you doing? So I'm making stone soup. No, you need carrots for stone soup. So everybody has their little bit. Nobody has it all.
Celery, potatoes.
Everybody starts throwing into into
To the extent that that index might be receptive to folks adding in their 2 cents worth, their memories.
Yes, and that's exactly the point. We're putting in everything we've got, so that now when you add your story to the story, that now all of a sudden these incredible tangential lines, like the spider web, starts to grow.
Innumerably.
Exactly. And just today alone, my God,
What we're talking,
Yeah.
the names we're dropping, and the ones that we're including, is that what you call an archives?
Yes. But this is more of a, we had to give ourselves a categorical name or something for a grant, and a community digital archive is basically what we are in plain and simple English. So what are some of your other recollections?
Well, of the concert series in particular was the publicity. Of course, the main frame of the publicity was the Paul Rudolph walls, the cement walls, and we would stick posters on it. Early on, I got in the habit of calling on the art students, the folks that I knew that were volunteering for the concert series already. Can you do a poster? And oftentimes they would go to the album art and take off from that, and sometimes it'd be their ingenuity, their talent, their skills that would be on the poster or the flyer or whatever we put up. We didn't do that much advertising on the radio, but boy, am I endeared to all these art students that were able to contribute.
Can you throw out names that you remember?
Oh.
I can see faces, but I can't remember the names because I didn't know them that well, because I was on campus before I even graduated from high school, working for the opera.
The one name I remember is Janet Bradwin, also known as Janet Elaine Bradwin, who is also now known as Janet Elaine Bradwin Williams.
Okay. Good thing you didn't forget that one.
She was on campus while I was on campus, and she and somebody else were at a backstage door to usher, to guide, and she caught my eye, and then I saw her again a few days later in the campus center in the cafeteria, and I decided it's a good time to stop and talk. It's lunchtime, and we spent a lot of time together. We were together at 378 Horseneck Road out there, the other side of the Slocum River. We were in a house out there where we're talking about the artwork that the students did, and even the backstage passes. Maybe it was only black and white, but fine.
Yeah.
Not so much the tickets, but
There was one woman I remember, because I found out later, her last name was Burns. Her family owned Burns Power Tools in Fall River. Either Marshall Burns was either her father or her grandfather, and he was a sawsmith. He made saws.
yeah.
He was a phenomenal guy. He was also a snake expert, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we were in awe. I mean, as freshmen, we were in awe of the juniors and seniors painting students. We felt like we could never be as great as they were. There was just this really great vibe on campus.
I should say so. It was diverse. We weren't all of the same mind. The engineering and biology students might have been largely separated, and a great number of students were married with children, employed, and they're working on a degree.
Yeah.
The
Career
art
students, basically.
and the art students were in their space, and I was a business major. I felt free to mix any which way all the time.
Yeah. But now, were you also a writer at one point, a poet, or you wrote articles, or?
The only article I remember writing back then there was I did a review of the film that was at the theater at Dartmouth Mall, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I wrote that up. But no, I wasn't doing any creative writing then. That's in the late 19s and the early, and it's and now my creative writing is not restricted, but it seems to have settled into correspondence, whether it's a text I'm sending with alliterations in it, or a serious convening of a executive committee at the club at the top of the hill, and I'm getting a little bit fanciful with the language, and I like grammar.
Yeah. I mean, one of the memories that I have of SMU is the French fries. It sounds insane, but to me, we didn't have McDonald's at that time.
Howdies.
McDonald's didn't. We had Howdies, but they were different.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, or I wasn't impressed by them. But we didn't get the first McDonald's was on Route 6, where the Dodge dealership next door to it. It's now been taken over by another dealership. But that was the very first McDonald's. But shoestring French fries were like a novelty.
Yeah.
And then it was the I don't know if it was just once a week or every day they had a sandwich by the inch. So you could get chicken salad sandwich by the inch, a crab sandwich salad by the inch, a tuna fish sandwich by the inch. It was a dime per inch.
Back in the days when a dime was a dime.
When a dime was a dime, exactly. And then of course there was the Rathskeller, or the Rat Cellar as we like to call it.
Oh, it was on the second deck of the campus center, or was that the third floor? It depends how you call it.
It was on the ground level.
Subsequently.
Yeah, subsequently. And for years that smelled of beer after they closed it down.
For some reason, for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Here? Oh, I'm sorry. It's lunchtime.
Yeah, it was an insane bunch of memories, because when you stop and think about it now, they've gotten so serious.
Too bad we weren't sitting in an automobile steering for a destination 1,000 miles away. We could have time to think of a whole lot more worth mentioning.
Exactly. So, all right. So, in closing, where is the campus now, do you think?
I have not been on campus much at all in a long time, but having moved out of South Dartmouth and into the city of New Bedford, the place turned into a village. And after I'd been in town at the Coachman House, the CVPA set foot in the old Star Store building. Oh, good. I like art students. I like schools. Hey, I liked Swain. If, in part, it was because of Swain School that I was ready to move into the city after having been at all those coastal addresses out there. Well, I moved in April of that year, and in the backyard at the Roach Jones Duff House was the final graduation ceremony for Swain School. But that was blank for years, and then when the CVPA opened up and they started having not just art students but other students, the downtown had a new life, and it was a beautiful thing, and it persists, although the schools closed down and moved out. I love New Bedford. You should like it too.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's a Rasta Band song lyric.
Oh, I love New Bedford. I love New Beige. I love to go to the
Whaling Museum.
Yeah, my friend John Robson, who is now literally and figuratively a world traveler, although he has done some. He went out to
all the way to
Vietnam,
Indochina,
with Eric DeWicki. I'm assuming it was a State Department business because Eric is involved with that. Or could have been for his Northeast Maritime Academy's business. And I've known John since before John. And people are like, what do you mean by that? Well, after my mom left my dad, John's dad, David, came over from England. And he was like my goofy Uncle David. I mean, we're talking goofy. It was like having one of the Beatles in the house because he had that. He was from Liverpool. He had that same vibe and everything.
Wow.
And then I remember when David brought Inga John's mom over to the house. I was smitten when I first saw her. And so my father and my stepmother were great friends. They'd go out dancing and stuff with them. And I saw John grow up as a little kid and nearly kill himself in my father's house. He got a hold of some prescription medications that were on the bottom shelf or something. I remember seeing the dye running out of his mouth. And then seeing him as a Swain student and saying, wow, this guy's kind of special. I mean, he's nothing like his goofy dad. And he went on to a bunch of stuff. But anyway, so he went over to Vietnam, and he hasn't come back yet. I don't even know her name. I haven't asked him.
Photography tour all over.
Yeah, I mean, he's
serious.
He's in the stands right now. It's whether it's Kurdistan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, one of the stands. He's out there.
He's probably a happy camper over there.
I was like, John, these are like National Geographic level photographs.
Yeah.
Well, John photographed my wedding, my second wedding, and people are like, where did you get this guy?
Was it an outside wedding?
No, it was actually my wife Paula decided that we were gonna. She wanted to have a wedding where it was a cocktail party first, where a wedding would break out, and
spontaneously,
and we went. We rented. We got married in a supermarket, but a high-end supermarket in Royal Oak in Michigan. It was above the Holiday Market, and they had a culinary school up there and a catering service. And it was the most, watching my guests from here, pulling up, and they're like, this can't be the right address. Look on their face, right? It was unbelievable. And then John, the photographs that he took were like, oh my God.
You didn't miss it.
No, I felt. Wow, was that us? Was that me?
A flashback, that's an important thing for a photographer to do, whether it's a wedding or a sports or what all, because those people that are involved in the front row, like the bride and the groom, they're pretty busy, they're pretty excited, they're pretty closely involved with each other, but when they see the photographer's work show up subsequently, then they see it. Then they're witnesses.
Yeah. He's always had that ability to be there the second before the thing happens.
Yeah.
And again, so I'm happy for him for sure. But it is. I do love this area, and it's taken a long time to. You start looking for greener pastures because you feel that there's nothing here for you. And as I get older, and I can't stop that, I remember when I did my first Moby Dick themed painting, it was, the Grand Armada from I think it's chapter 81, 87, I can't remember. Anyway, it was a big triptych. And I realized, oh, damn. Oh damn! This is something I never thought that Moby Dick was this. There's a whole undercurrent of things going on that it's almost like a spy novel. I mean, it's layer after layer after layer. Somebody wrote that. Moby Dick is Uncle Tom's Cabin done better. He was an ardent abolitionist, and it goes on to that whole thing and where we come from. I did a podcast with Naomi Slip, the new curator of the New Bedford Whaling Museum, and I said, "Is it my imagination, Naomi, that either everything started here or everything came here?" And she says, "No, I had the exact same thought."
Yeah,
it is phenomenal. I mean, we were a very prosperous city, and money draws all kinds of things to it. But I'm hoping that we can jump the gap left by what was a Star Store to CVPA downtown, which is a whole other story. People will open their veins about it. It's another one of those tragic moments. But, what they say, if what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Sure.
So, where, to close this out, where do you think Where do you think we're going to go from here, Colin?
I think we're going to be doing very well, we individually and collectively in the city of New Bedford. Whatever major changes may have occurred, all that salt water's right there. For instance, that's led to the wind farm industry setting up camp on the South Terminal area. Whatever those students at CVPA left behind, that's still growing individually, collectively. That's good for the downtown. And what's good for the downtown spreads north and south. I think New Bedford's got a sterling future. We might be often neglected by the world around, by Boston even. I think Boston sometimes just turns a cold shoulder to New Bedford because New Bedford was so big and important in so many ways for so long. And Boston, people might have come from Worcester or Worcester or Rochester, and they're in Boston now, and they're making decisions in offices and with their fellows in their various roles. And I'm in Boston, New Bedford. That's down there. Yeah, we're down here just as well. We're separate. We're separate from Boston. We're separate from Providence. We're separate from New York. But we're close to the world, considering the diverse population that we got and always have had. Never mind going back to the whaling industry where they were making port stops all around the world.
Every nationality was wandering in the streets, so to speak. You know, Fiji landers. I mean, if you go back to,
one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, and probably one of the most decent human beings in his own primitiveness, which was, I mean, it was a setup to show
a lot
for sure.
Yeah, Herman Melville. Here's the Moby Dick. There's, that 25-year, well, it was 25 years for me that I participated in the Moby Dick Marathon at the Whaling Museum, and at that point I decided, no, back off, get out. There's a lot of other people that want to have their 10-minute reading slot. And conversation with friends around town and acquaintances, I would say, check it out. It's free to get in. Go to the Whaling Museum, walk in any time, and just sit down for 20 minutes. Because if you sit down for 20 minutes, you're probably going to hear 3 different readers. And one or the other of them is going to be really exciting. Or the chapter parts that they are reading are going to be really worthwhile.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, I've been conjuring a piece. I'm going to go back in time to my SMU days when I was doing stitch paintings, which were introduced to me the concept of Alberto Buri and Antonio Taipis by Ed Tonieri, and The Whiteness of the Whale. I've been wanting to do that chapter really
It's
bad.
Been done before and deserves to be done again, and I'd like to see your work doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Whiteness of the Whale was the one that really got to me, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it like acrylic on canvas. It had to be stitched. It has to be stitched.
That chapter, they all stand out one way and another. A friend of mine from Iceland, when he was coming over with his wife to stay at their place in the States, she got the book in Icelandic out of the library in Reykjavik and came over here, and I arranged for Eyþór Haraldsson to have a slot in the reading list. So he read for 10 minutes in Icelandic.
Really? That's sort of cool. Yeah, that is sort of cool. Colin, thank you so much. Oh, you got one more?
Gladly. We're good. The only thing we lack is that 1,000-mile drive for a longer conversation.
Yes, we do. We do for sure. For sure. Colin Williams, thank you so much for coming. Folks, any of you old smoors or Smitties or even
Institute of Technologists.
Exactly. If you've got anything to throw into the pot, please contact us. The more the better, the more the merrier.
Artists Index.
The Artists Index. Yeah, we're all in this together, folks. And as I always close out, take care of yourself and be kind to other people. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
To learn more about the South Coast Artists Index, visit theartistindex.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Be the artist you believe you are, and let's take care of each other out there.